This music. This will be in the background of all my readings. So yeah, I have it set on repeat. There we go. So today's creepypasta. Sorry if my hair hit the mic, but the creepypasta of the day. Cupcakes. I need to go refill my water, so I'm gonna pause everything just to go refill. I'll be back. And yes, the song started over. But this is the second time I've tried recording this. Because the first time I tried, I was having trouble with the audio from my monitor. And yeah, this song is so creepy. I should probably find a different one, so pause the recording again. Time, cause the music went out again. As you can see here, I am in the audio settings for my monitor. And as you can see, there is the internal speakers for my laptop, the audio device from my screen just cut out on me, sorry. The Soundflowers. What the flip? The Sunflower 16 chapter, Sunflower 2nd chapter, SCEI monitor, and my microphone, which as you can hear, I'm tapping on that. But yeah, so I'm keeping this up in the top right corner just in case my audio goes out again. So yeah, the song I'm playing now is called Scary Horror Music Haunted. I like it. It's perfect for this story. Okay, so let's get started. Because as Pinkie Pie and Alex Side say, time is candy. The air was warm, the sun was shining, and all of Ponyville was having a glorious day. The town square was bustling and crowded. Busy ponies were making their busy way through the streets. All pony folks seemed to have somewhere to be, all except Rainbow Dash. Her place was in the sky. She freely tore through the air, speeding one way and the next. She buzzed through the treetops and raced the wind. The Pegasus swooped over a schoolyard, much to the delight of the children, climbing several hundred feet. She dove, going as fast as she could, seconds before hitting the ground. Her wings flew open and she took off back into the clear blue. Rainbow felt a lie. Then she remembered she had somewhere to be. She was supposed to meet with Pinkie Pie in 5 minutes. She had gotten so caught up in her exercises that she nearly forgot. Pinkie had asked Rainbow Dash to meet her at a cube corner at 3. She didn't say why or what they'd be doing, but Rainbow Dash knew that with Pinkie it could be anything. She wasn't sure if she really wanted to go, though. She was so engaged with her stunts that she thought about blowing Pinkie off to continue flying, but Dash's conscience got the better of her. She knew that it would hurt Pinkie's feelings. After all, she said it was going to be something special, just for the two of them. She considered it and thought, why not? What did she have to news. Heck, it might be more pranking. Pinky might have found a bunch more fun stuff to pull on folks. They had so much fun the last time. Dash kicked into overdrive, mostly to make up for lost time, and sped her way to her appointment. And the music stopped. It's not the sound, it's just on repeat. So yeah, I'm gonna get that back on. Boop. Well, that's not creepy. I should probably pause the recording before I get sued. So yeah, back to where we were. When she walked into the store, she was immediately greeted with her host bouncing in excitement. "Yeah, you're here! You're here! I've been waiting all day," said the jumping pony. "Sorry if I'm a little late, Pinky. I was doing my afternoon exercises and lost track of time," Dash apologized. Pinky giggled and responded, her tone gleefully reassuring. "Oh, that's okay. You're here now. What's a few more minutes? I've been so excited thinking about all the fun we're going to do today. I haven't stopped bouncing since I woke up. I almost forgot to breathe. I've been so happy." Okay, I don't know how I can talk that fast, but I can. And welcome to the... Okay. I should not get focused on the music. If you don't know, I like music. But I also like weaponry a lot more, which is why that's my cutie mark. Probably should have done something different, but oh well. Okay. Dash gave a slightly uncomfortable laugh. She always appreciated Pinky's friendly, outgoing way of life, but her overabundant enthusiasm almost creeped her out. Dash was polite, however. If Pinky was gotten this worked up, then it must be good whatever it is. "So, you ready to get started, Rainbow Dash? I've got everything all ready," the pink one said. Dash psyched herself up. "You betcha, Pinky. So what do you got planned? We gonna prank somebody? I got a couple of good ones I've been thinking about. Or maybe we're gonna do some stunts you think I should try. Or maybe making cupcakes," Pinky happily announced. "Baking?" Dash was disappointed. "Pinky, you know I'm not good at baking. Remember the last time?" "Oh, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. I only need your help making them. I'll be doing most of the work," Pinky explained. Dash thought about it for a second and replied, "Well, alright, I guess. What exactly do you need me to do?" "That's the spirit. Here you go, Pinky."
I live in New York City. I produce films, shoot commercials, and direct videos. Movies cost...
Oh, dang it. Stupid ad. That's enough music. Stupid iPad. Pinky handed Dash a cupcake. Dash was puzzled. "I thought I was helping you bake." "You will be. I made this one just before you got here." "So this is like a taste test or something?" "Sorta," Pinky said. Dash shrugged and popped the pastry into her mouth. She chewed a bit and swallowed. "Not bad." "Okay, now," Dash asked. I tried to make it sound like she was still eating the cupcake. Sorry. "Now," Pinky informed, "you take a nap." Okay, I'm gonna close my door before my parents get home from the unneeded to know place they went. I almost unplugged my iPad. Well, is that 48% battery? Upon hearing that, Dash felt lightheaded. Her world spun around, and in seconds, she dropped to the floor like... She dropped to the floor like... Wasn't in there, it just says she dropped to the floor. When Dash regained consciousness, she found herself in a dark room. She tried to shake her head, but found that the taut leather strap kept it firmly in place. She struggled to move, but the braces around her chest and limbs glued her to the upright planks. Her legs were spread wide apart. Okay, sorry about that. Her legs were spread wide apart. The only part of her not tied down were her wings, as the frame was backless. As she wreathed, Pinky jumped into her line of sight. "Goody, you're awake! Now we can get started," she gleefully stated. She was pushing a cart covered with a cloth. "Pinky, what's going on? I can't move," Dash said in a worry. "Well, duh, you're tied down," Pinky chided. "That's why you can't move. I didn't think you needed to be told that." "But why? What's happening? I thought you said I was going to help you make cupcakes." "You are helping. You see, I ran out of the special ingredient. I need you to get more." "Special ingredient?" Dash was now breathing heavily and starting to panic. "What kind of special ingredient?" Pinky giggled and responded, "You silly." Dash's eyes widened, her face contorted in fear. Then she started to laugh. "Woo, really got me there, Pinkie Pie. I mean, tricking me into thinking I'm gonna get made into cupcakes. I got to tell you, this is the best prank yet. You win. You're the best." Pinky giggled even more. "Aw, thanks, Dash, but I haven't done any pranks today, so I can't escape." I almost said escape, and darn it! Okay, I'm gonna pause the recording and deal with whatever the heck this problem I got going on is, so that this message here stops appearing in every dang video. So yeah, I'm kinda mad at the moment, because I can't keep reading, but I will be back, I promise. Don't think we'll be seeing that anymore in the future. So yeah, back to the story. My eyes itch. I haven't been wearing my glasses. Dash was struggling again. "Pinky, come on, this isn't funny." "Then why were you laughing?" Pinky grabbed the cloth and whipped it off the cart. The top of the tray contained various sharp medical tools and knives, carefully organized and ready. There was a medicine bag and several other objects next to him. Dash was now in full panic mode. She started to hyperventilate. Her mind was racing and she tried to reason with the pink pony. "You can't do this, Pinky. I'm your friend." "I know you are, and that's why I'm so happy I've got you here. We get to share your last moments together, just you and me." She was skipping again, but the other ponies will wonder where... Dang it, messed up. Yeah, I can contort my voice any way I want. But the other ponies will wonder where I am. When the clouds pile up, they'll come looking for me, and then you'll get found out. Pinky, Look, I cannot read like this so much. Too much, I meant. Okay, let's try rereading that. But the other ponies will wonder where I am. When the clouds start to pile up, they'll come looking for me, and then you'll get found out. Dash was desperate. There we go. Fixed it, I think. Oh, Dash, Pinky said. Don't worry, there are plenty of Pegasi to take care of a few clouds. And besides, no one will find out. I mean, how long do you think I've been doing this? And with that, the lights suddenly came to life and showcased the rest of the room. Oh, God, no. Dash reeled in horror at the image presented to her. The room was decorated with a typical but twisted Pinkie Pie flair. Colorful streamers of dried entrails danced around the ceiling. Brightly painted skulls of all sizes were stuck on the walls, and organs done up in pastels filled with helium were tied to the backs of chairs. The tables and chairs were made of bones and flesh of past ponies. Dash cringed at the centerpiece of the table nearest to her. The heads of 4 foals, their eyes closed like they were sleeping, wearing party hats made from their own skin. Okay, ow, that hurts my voice doing that voice. I need some water. She recognized one of them as Apple Bloom's classmate. Her eyes darted back and forth and then gazed up at the patchwork banner hanging from the rafters, made of several pony hides. The words, "Life is a Party," were scrawled in red. Dash's attention was stolen by a party horn unfurling and tickling her nose. She saw Pinkie Pie standing there in front of her. The party pony was wearing a dress quilted from cutie marks. On her back fluttered 6 Pegasus wings, all different colors. As she skipped in excitement, her necklace of unicorn horns loudly clacked together. "Like it?" she said. "I made it myself." Dash pleaded. "Pinkie, please. I'm sorry if I did anything to you. I didn't mean it. Please let me go. I promise I won't tell anybody." "Oh, Dash, you didn't do anything. It's just your number came up and, I don't make the rules. We can't turn back now." Rainbow Dash was tearing up. How could this be happening? "Oh, don't be sad, Dash," Pinkie said. "Look, this'll cheer you up. I brought you a friend." Out of seemingly nowhere, Pinkie displayed a bright blue-yellow painted skull. It was about pony size, but had a very defining feature: a beak. Dash was freaking out. Is that... Hi, Dash. Hey, Dash, let's hang out together. These ponies are lame-os. Dweebs, Pinkie mimicked. I caught her right before she left town. Remember when I left the party for about 20 minutes? That wasn't enough time to play with her, of course. I had to wait until after the party to do that. But boy, am I glad I did. It was worth the flavor alone. Griffins taste like 2 animals at once. It's amazing, I know. She didn't have a number like anybody else in Ponyville. But when was I gonna get another chance to try Griffin? In hindsight, I probably should have asked where she came from. In hindsight, I probably should have asked where she came from, so that I could get more. But I forgot. I'll tell you what, though. She was quite a fighter. Lasted a long time, which was fun for me. Oh, crap. I lost where I was, and my iPad turned, so yeah. I got the chance to play with somebody other than a pony and try new things. It's too bad she had such a potty mouth. She said so much bad stuff. I had to take out her tongue. You know, bad language makes for bad feelings, Dash. Dash didn't have anything to say. She just sobbed and wreathed. Well, Pinky said, putting the skull down, that's enough reminiscing. It's time to begin. She picked up a scalpel and walked over to Dash's right flank. Without any flair, she placed the blade an inch above her cutie mark and started a circular cut around it, her lungs working overtime. Dash shouted in pain and tried desperately to pull away, but the braces held her still. Finishing the incision, Pinky grabbed the curved skinning knife from the tray. She worked it under the skin and sliced the hide away from the muscle. Dash ground her teeth as she tearfully watched as her flesh came off. Pinky then moved to the other chair and completed the other flank. When she was done, Pinky held up both cutie marks in front of her friend and started waving them like pom-poms. Dash just whimpered. Her thighs burned. Placing the skin down, Pinky selected the large butcher's knife and walked behind Rainbow Dash. Hope you don't mind. I think I'm gonna wing it now, Pinky laughed. She grabbed the left one and played with it for a second, then stretching the wing out. She brought the blade down at the base instantly. Dash screamed and thrashed her appendage. The movement threw off Pinky's aim. She tried to hit the mark again, but missed wide and put a huge slice in Rainbow Dash's back. Dash, you gotta stay still, or I'll keep missing. She took another whack and hit the target. She swung again and again, blood spraying into the air, but realized she wasn't getting anywhere. The blade just wasn't going through the bone. I guess I forgot to sharpen it. I'll try something else, she stated as she tossed the knife over her shoulder, the blade embedding itself in the table. The crying Rainbow Dash heard the sound of a metal box opening and closing. Got it. Say, Dash, why do they call it a hacksaw? It doesn't hack. Hacking is what I was doing with that knife. This is a saw. I don't get it. Okay, my neck's starting to hurt. Pinky placed the tool over the last attempt. It effortlessly sailed through the bone and skin. The painful feeling of the teeth grinding in her made Dash want to vomit. She watched helplessly as her wing flew over her head and landed with a fluff on the table. Pinky moved to the next and started sawing. Dash didn't struggle this time. She'd given up trying to fight and just cried. Then the saw abruptly paused. Pinky was only halfway done, the wing hanging off by only a sliver. Hey, Dash, she piped up. Think fast. Suddenly she yanked the wing as hard as she could. The bone snapped, but the skin held tight. The pull ripped a long strip of flesh down Rainbow Dash's back to her rump. The unexpected trauma caused her body to seize. She felt the warm release between her legs, and her pelvis tensed up. Dash's loud, unrending melody of pain filled the room. Unable to catch her breath, she blacked out. She awoke with a gasp. The stench of her urine filled her mucus-caked nostrils. She saw the very pouty Pinkie Pie removing the adrenaline needle from her chest, stomping her hooves. The frustrated Pinkie lashed out.
Okay, I gotta make Pinkie Pie sound mad. And, I don't do good voice acting impressions of other people. So, yeah, this should be fun for you all.
Didn't anybody teach you manners? It's very rude to fall asleep when somebody invites you over to spend time with them. How would you like it if I came over to your house and went to sleep? Oh, I'm sorry, Dash. You're boring. I think I'll take a nap. You think I'm like always doing this by myself? I told you how excited I got when I found you were next. I was excited to have a friend be here with me while I worked. But no, you've got to be inconsiderate. I thought you were tough. I thought you could handle anything. I had fools stand better than you. Do I have to baby you, huh? Is that what you want me to remember you as a baby?
She stopped to catch her breath. Dash blinked and softly cried. Her back was on fire. Pinkie then popped something red into her mouth and began to chew. She noticed Dash staring at her.
What? She asked. This, holding up another piece. Well, while you were asleep, I got a little impatient and helped myself to a little sample. I got it from your leg. You're not bad. Want to try some?
Without waiting for a response, she shoved a strip of meat into the revolted Rainbow Dash's mouth. She immediately spat it out, and Pinkie picked it up.
If you don't want it, you could have said no.
She then ate the discarded snotty morsel.
It's not if you haven't had it before.
Swallowing, she turned her attention to the small can on the tray. She removed the lid, revealing that inside, filled with burning coals, sitting on top of the fire, was several large nails. Dash began to panic again. Pinkie picked up the can and walked over to Rainbow Dash's left. Carefully picking up a nail and grabbing a hammer, she positioned the spike at the seam between her leg and her hoof.
No, Pinkie, no! Dash screamed. No!
The hammer came down and the nail punctured under the skin. The white-hot burning was too much. Dash pulled and thrashed at the brace. Her skin rubbed into her. Pinkie tried to line up another one, but couldn't find her aim. She let out a frustrated grunt. When she pulled the hammer back to take a wild swing, Dash burst out crying and begging.
Please stop! Please stop!
Pinkie rolled her eyes, putting the hammer back down. She walked in front of her friend. She stared pensively at the broken Pegasus. Gilda didn't cry this much when she struck the live pear sprite down her throat. Pinkie thought for a minute about what to do next. Then there was a sudden spark in her imagination. She grabbed the gear wheel on the rack and laid Rainbow Dash on her back. She moved to Dash's hind legs, bringing the can with her. Pinkie picked up the hammer again, and she dove a searing piece of metal into the bottom of Dash's hoof. Dash screamed again. Pinkie put one into the other hoof. Next, she located the small generator on the tray, trying the copper wires tying the upper wires to the nails. She gave Dash a wink and flipped the switch. Electricity rocketed through Dash's body. The blue pony reacted immediately. Body seized, muscles struck taut. Her hips thrust skyward and her eyes rolled back. She let out a deep, throat-shedding cry. Pinky giggled and danced in place. She turned up the juice. Dash convulsed uncontrollably. Her bladder emptied once more.
Still got pain in my throat.
After about 5 minutes, Pinky shut off the power. The area smelled lightly of cooked flesh and burnt enamel. She put Dash upright again and tried to snap the delirious and drooling pony back to attention. Dash! Dash! Wake up! Rainbow Dash managed to give her a modic. I do not know how to say that word. Gave her a weak acknowledgement. Pinky reached into the medicine bag and produced a large syringe. Alright, time for the last round. Dash looked at the needle and Pinky took that as a question as to what it was. Something to take the pain away, she informed as she walked around to Rainbow Dash's ruined backside. She struck the needle right into the lower part of her spine. Dash flinched. Coming to the front again, she told her friend, in a few minutes you won't be able to feel anything below your rib cage. Then you'll be able to stay awake and watch the harvest. Dash started to cry. Again. Pinky, she trembled out. Yeah? I want to go home. Dash openly sobbed. Yeah, I can see you wanting to do that, the party pony replied. Sometimes I just want to give up. I'm done with this mess. Sometimes I just want to give up and say, I'm done with this mess, and go to bed. But you know what? You can't shrug off your responsibilities. You've got to pull yourself up and meet the challenges ahead. That's the only way you're gonna get ahead in life.
Okay, I gotta pee, so I'm gonna pause the recording. I'll be back. My voice still hurts now. My parents are home, my neck hurts, my back hurts. But, hey, my dad just cracked my back, so let's see if that helps. So back to the story.
Dash cried. Minutes passed, and the drug took effect. Dash was numb from her chest to her flanks. Aware of this, Pinky approached her with the scalpel. With only a smiling glance to Dash, she made a long cut across her pelvis, just above her crotch. Moving up her body, she drew a similar incision under her ribs. One final cut was made down her stomach, connecting with the first two. Looks like I got my eye on you. I don't get that.
Oh, I get it.
Took me a second. Looks like I got my eye on you, Dash. With a moist, gooey sound of the new door flapped open. The sight of her own organs and lack of feeling crushed Dash's breath to intensify. Pinky sliced open the abdominal sac and grabbed the large intestines, separating them from the rest of the digestive tract and pulling them from the forming cavity. Pinky was getting jovial and started making jokes. Dash growing weaker from the new source of blood loss, trying to shut out the comedy act. Pinky was laughing. Look at me, I'm Rarity, she said, slinging the tube across her neck and spreading blood in all directions. Isn't my scarf so pretty? Reaching back in, she cut out the small intestine of the bowels, squeezing out the excess excrement. Pinky filed it through her teeth and dragged it back and forth. Dentists say you gotta floss every day, Dash. Rainbow Dash was barely aware of what was going on anymore. The shock was causing her to fade. Pinky got disappointed, driving back into the guts. She ramped up her routine. Oh, don't go yet, Dash. She started pulling out the rest of the organs, stopping at each one. I know I can be a real pancreas, but you know I'm just kidney with you. You've got to learn to liver up, boy. These jokes are getting pretty bladder. Guess you gotta develop a stomach for them. She placed the discarded body parts into a bucket, keeping the last one for a bit longer. Ooh, bagpipe, she said, placing the tube in her mouth and the organ in her armpit. A spurt of acid hit her tongue. Ew. Oh, hey, there's your cupcake, Dash. Dash didn't hear. She had slipped from consciousness minutes ago. Pinky, not satisfied yet, hit her with another adrenaline shot. Dash woke up for the last time, her heart jumping. Her blood flowed out faster. It wouldn't be long now. Pinky put Dash on her back and straddled her chest, scalpel at the ready. You know, Rainbow Dash, I'm disappointed. I thought you would have lasted longer. I really wanted to spend more time with you before we got here, but I guess it's my fault. I should have taken it a little slower. Oh well. Really was nice knowing you, Dash. The blade sunk into the blue one's throat and worked its way up to her chin. Coming back down, it circled around her neck. The last thing Dash felt was her skin being cut away from her skull, the metal scraping her teeth. And then she was gone. Pinky stared into the mirror. She did a really good job, even keeping the eyelids. She winked, Dash winked back. Pinky smiled. But still, she was sad that her friend was now gone. It only lasted 15 minutes, not nearly as long as she wanted. She looked back at the cadaver hanging there in the center of the room, the last of its fluids draining into the pan. Yep, no more Rainbow Dash. Yep. You know I had to do that. Then Pinky cocked her head. She was starting to take notice of the fact that there wasn't much damage, in fact, she began to think. I think an idea exploded in her head. She was good at sewing, and she had all the pieces. All she had to do was put her body back together. Yeah, just get some stuffing, and bingo, she'd have Rainbow Dash forever. In fact, that's what she'd do for all her friends when their numbers came up. She was so excited. She skipped over to the body with the skinner and started. The cupcakes could wait. Pinky had to make a new friend. Silver Spoon suddenly woke up. She was on her back and couldn't move. She couldn't see where she was, freaking out. She was just about to scream when the pony from the bakery appeared in front of her. Hi, she giggled. I got it. Where am I? What's going on? Said the frightened little fool. The frightened little fool asked. Oh, well, you see, your number came up. And I gotta make cupcakes, Pinky explained. What does that mean? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. It'll all be over soon.
She approached the girl, scalpel at the ready, with a small voice. When a small voice called out from behind her.
Miss Pinkie Pie, what are you doing?
She paused and turned to look at Apple Bloom. The yellow baby pony walked up to her with an angry look on her face. Silver Spoon started to feel revealed.
I can't believe you're doing this, she pouted. You said this one was gonna be mine.
Pinkie apologized.
Oops, sorry about that. Guess I forgot.
Here you go. She handed the blade over. Apple Bloom climbed onto the table and stood over her prey. Silver Spoon tried to struggle. She stared in fear at Apple Bloom and her apron. The pink apron with a shiny tarry on it. Silver Spoon started to cry. Apple Bloom grinned and opened her mouth.
Hey, Silver Spoon. Guess who's gonna be a blank flank?
Well then, that was a good creepypasta. But hey, we're not done yet. I still gotta read the alternate ending, which is pretty much another creepypasta, so I wouldn't be surprised if this video was over a few minutes. Look, I'm going to read ahead for a few seconds, so I'm going to pause the recording and read this ahead. Took me a few seconds to find it, but yeah. Finally got the story pulled up. Rocket to Insanity, as this one is called. It is the unofficial alternate ending to Cupcakes. And I'm gonna say pretty much what I've heard of this story so far. I get to read it myself then, but I'm going to say what I've heard of this story. From what I hear, it's the story Cupcakes was all fake. It was all a dream that Rainbow Dash once had. And she goes insane after murdering Pinkie Pie. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've heard from this story. Let's get started. Screams echoed through the cloud palace of Rainbow Dash's home. The filly startled, wide awake in a cold sweat. Terror surging through her veins. Nightmares again. The 7th time this month. And it was always the same one. The one with the cupcakes. Flashes of memory lanced through her head, wings being hacked off and then ripped from their sockets. Needles plunged into her beating heart. Adrenaline injected into her body to keep her awake and alert. The torture went on. As the torture went on, the smell of her own flesh cooking, the sight of her own blood and gore spilling from her surgically incised belly. The mastermind behind the terror toying with those glistening organs like they were party favors. She knew in her heart that Pinkie Pie would never be capable of doing such a gruesome act. But that thought didn't help to make the dreams any less vivid. The Pegasus sobbed openly, curling up in her blanket and rocking back and forth as her body trembled with fear. She hadn't told anyone about the dreams, about the lingering feeling of steel piercing flesh and the blade cutting bone. Her work had suffered because of the constant night terrors. The nightmares being so powerful, they
that she was simply afraid of going back to sleep. Some nights staying up altogether in an attempt to stave off the horrors for just one more night. And every pony wondered why she spent most of her day napping in the open, in the daylight, because in the shining brilliance of the sun, it was the only way she could actually rest. But even then, the black clutches of her fear had led subconscious had begun to creep even into that relative safety, following her through the dreaming world. Dash whimpered as tears streaked down her. Dang it! My iPad shut off. Where was I? As tears streaked down her face, straining the fur off of her cheeks as wide eyes darted around the darkened scenery of her room, heart pounding in her chest as breath came before hiccuping sobs. Her wings clanged tight against her form as paranoia began to clutch at the edges of her mind. Shadows lurched and moved into peripheral vision, routine natural noises becoming distorted and echoing within her mind. As adrenaline surged through her shivering form, this wasn't healthy. Her mind was slowly breaking under the horrors of her subconscious mind. That things that no pony should ever see, should ever even have the slightest thought about, chipping away at her psyche. She was starting to crack. Rainbow Dash! Rainbow Dash! Hey, has any pony seen Rainbow Dash around? Applejack trotted through the streets of Ponyville, looking high and low for the town's residents' speedster pony. Bystanders just shook their heads and shrugging. Horse feathers figured. Horse feathers figures that the pony's nowhere to be seen when you really need her. The cow pony sighed and continued through town, hoofbeats kicking up the dust as... Dang it! Stupid iPad! Hoofbeats kicking up dust as she looked to the sky for the Pegasus pony. Consarn it, Rainbow Dash! Where in the wild world of Equestria are you? A long yawn from the branches of a tree behind her met her answer. The pony in question dipping her head down and gazing at Applejack from an upside-down position. Applejack? What Applejack? What is that? What is it that is so important that you've got to know just why I'm making a fuss? Okay, hold on. What is it that is so important that you've got to interrupt my napping? The western pony stamped a hoof on the ground, scowling at the Pegasus. Now you know just why I'm making a fuss and finding you. You said you were gonna bring over a little rainstorm for the crops at Sweet Apple Acres nearly 2 hours ago. Instead, I find you out here in a tree, snoozing your little behind off. Dash gave a groan, slipping out of the tree and landing on her hooves, shaking her head. She looked more disheveled than usual, her mane a mess, dark bags under her eyes from many sleepless nights. She looked pale, sickly almost, yet still tried to put on an air of cheerfulness. She heaved a yawn before giving a dismissive wave to Applejack. Yeah, keep your saddle on.
I can't do a fake yawn.
Get right to it. Sorry and stuff.
I tried to do a fake yawn, I'm sorry.
As the Pegasus pony turned and spread her wings to take off, Applejack tilted her head to the side and gave a little frown. Dash, you feeling okay? You look a little under the weather. Dash grumped, shrugging her shoulders as she gave her wings a little test flap. "I'm fine," was the only response from the Pegasus. The cowpony behind her stepped forward, giving Dash's side a little nudge with her snout. "You sure about that?" She was cut off by the Pegasus suddenly jerking away from Applejack, darting up into the air as her eyes went wide. Don't touch me. I'm fine. Honest. She nearly spilled the beans right then and there, but refrained. She just couldn't take the chance that the other pony might think different of her because she was being scared out of her mind every night by some stupid nightmare. Her body gave a little shiver as Applejack looked on with concern. Gotta go! Before Applejack could say anything further, Dash was off like a rocket towards Sweet Apple Acres, leaving the cowpony there just to scratch her head in confusion. That girl ain't right. Another terror-filled night. Dash lay curled upon the floor of her cloud house, blankets swathed around her shivering form. It was worse this time. She had been flayed open, set upon a dining table of the pink earth pony, as slabs of her own meat dripping with her life fluids was sheared from her flanks, served to all of her friends, herself still somehow alive enough to be aware of the entire situation, hearing the laughter as they devoured her living form, as fork and knife dug into her innards, tearing her apart. She was nothing more than a slab of meat for her friends' enjoyment. Hiccups punctured through the heavy sobs as the Pegasus pony clutched at her head. The visions from that nightmare had been visiting upon her, ingrained within her memory. Every horrible detail, from the fiery pain of rended flesh to the sickening sound of innards being torn and ripped out of her belly, was cast into the vivid depiction. She whined as she lay curled tightly upon the floor, sniffling as tears gushed from her eyes. "Just leave me alone. Why won't you leave me alone?" she hiccuped, rocking back and forth. "I don't deserve this. Just stay out of my head. Get out of my head, please. Just get out of my head." Fear turned into anger, Dash beating her hoofs against her temples. "I'm gonna turn on the light in my room because it's getting pretty dark." Ow, my leg. I don't even remember when I started recording. Okay. Ow. Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! She wept openly, grinding her forehead against the floor of her room, hooves pounding and pounding at her head, bruising the flesh-ish pent-up frustration and sleep deprivation erupted in an In an agonized scream of rage and sorrow, another night, another crack in the window. Every pony had noticed it. It was the way she walked, the way she talked, her body language just screamed it. Gone was Rainbow Dash, that cheerful, brash speedster replaced by some hollow shell. She drifted aimlessly about over Ponyville as weeks of interrupted sleep had taken its toll upon her. All of her friends knew that something was up, but none of them knew exactly what to do. She had pushed them away when they had tried to confront her, lashing out like a wounded animal anytime they tried to console her or plead with her to get help. Too headstrong, some would say. Too proud, others still. But none of them realized the gravity of the situation until that one fateful day. The day Rainbow Dash finally snapped. It had been unseasonably warm spring day in Ponyville. Everybody was out enjoying the temperate weather, from falls to colts, and then some, as every pony went about their business, Lyra Bonbon chatting it up beneath their usual table at the cafe, Applejack selling the first harvest from Sweet Apple Acres as ponies lined up for their ruby delectables. And within the candy corner, Pinkie Pie was busy darting to and fro in the kitchen, baking up a storm. She glanced at the clock every now and then, frowning each time, before the bell to the door finally rang open. A haggard-looking Rainbow Dash entered the shop. "Rainbow, you're finally here! Oh, I've been so worried about you. You've been a mopsy-dopsy, so I thought I'd ask you to come visit me so I could make you feel a little extra super special and cheer you up. But then you didn't show up when I thought you were going to, and I was all sad that you were going to stay cooped up in your house all day, but then you came. And now you're here. And now we can have some fun." Dash merely looked at her blankly before shaking her head and stumbling forward. "Whatever, Pinkie. What did you want me here for?" The energetic earth pony bounced about the kitchen over towards one of the many ovens of the candy corner before pulling the door down, reaching and pulling out a tray of puffy, fluffy pancakes. I said pancakes. Cupcakes, with a generous slathering of icing upon them. She spun around, grinning widely as she showed the baked goods off to Dash. "I made you cupcakes." Dash paled. Mind flashed back to the earliest of those nightmares, the most vivid, the most intense. A tray of cupcakes, tasting, finding motor skills rapidly deteriorating, stumbling as her body shut down under the effects of some unknown drug. Pinkie Pie looming over her with that trademark grin, eyes gleaming as the world dimmed around her. And here it was, happening for real. Vision became hazed as the world began to spin around her. The Pegasus stumbling back and shaking her head, whispering under her breath, "No, no, 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 no." Okay, I'm sorry if that was a little quiet, so I'll move my mic. "No, no, 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 no." Now, where were we after that? She backed up, eyes wide with fear as she shook her head violently, looking around frantically for a way out. Any way out. The window, the door. No, no. I don't want him. I don't want him. I'm not gonna let you. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. Pinkie nearly tilted her head to the side, quizzically setting the tray down and lifting a few of the cakes out and plating them bouncing over the shivering Rainbow Dash and offering the plate to the Pegasus. Dash stared at them. They were the same color, same kind. Run, a voice inside her head said. Run, you idiot. Run. A hoof lashed out, smacked the plate out of Pinkie Pie's hooves. I said I don't want them. I know what you're doing. It's not going to work. Pinkie Pie frowned at the discarded cupcakes. But in typical Pinkie Pie fashion, she shrugged and went about cleaning them out, humming to herself. Maybe you don't like avocado icing. That's okay. I made plenty more. So we can make some to your liking. Is that okay, Rainbow Dad? Dang it, my voice. I've been speaking in voices for so long. My voice is starting to break. Crap. My neck hurts too. Maybe you don't like avocado icing. That's okay. I made plenty more, so we can just make some to your liking. Is that okay, Rainbow Dash? Dash? She glanced back. The Pegasus pony letting out panic whimpering noises, eyes fixated on the pony before her, pupils nearly pine-pricked. I don't know that word. Pupils nearly pinpricks, as fear and adrenaline coursed through her veins. She was pinned between Pinkie Pie and the walls behind her, just heaving with heavy gasps. Her sleep-deprived, horror-filled mind played the scene from her nightmares, over and over again, of the saw rending through flesh, cutting through bones. Run! Get away! Scalpel piercing her breast, dragging through her flesh down to her groin, flaying her open like some sick sort of pinata. Move! Just get away. Get away, get away, get away. She was hyperventilating by now, no longer seeing a longtime friend, but a horrific, sadistic butcher. Do something! And then she saw it, the shining, sharp protector, just sitting there on the table next to her. The voice in her mind whispered to her, like a seductive lover surrounding. So wrong, but so right at the same time. Kill her. Dash hesitated. Part of her wanted to scream, another to run, but yet another considered the request. Kill her before she kills you. Her mind was a maelstrom of conflicting thoughts, the Pegasus feeling sick to her stomach, weak in the knees. The beat of her own heart pounding within her head. Take the knife. She stared at it, hoof slowly stretching out, trembling as a part of her still trying to reason. Take it. Take the knife. Tears streaming down her face as her hoof hovered above the handle of the tool-turned weapon. As if the last frayed strands of her sanity knew what was happening, knew that it was frightening, fighting a battle it was going to lose. Take it! She snatched it up, holding it in front of her, at Pinkie Pie with shaky hooves, her ears splayed back against her head, hiccups between sobs. Just leave me alone. Please, Pinkie Pie. Just leave me alone. Pinkie Pie looked at the knife being wielded by her friend for a moment before giggling and bouncing over towards Dash, whose heart sank as the filly rapidly approached. Oh, Dash, you silly filly. You got me good with that one. Never warned to turn down an opportunity to break. She didn't think, her body acting on its own. Aghast, Pinkie Pie looked thunderstruck as Dash heaved, frozen in mid-strike, the silvery blade of the knife dripping with red ichor. Pinkie Pie brought up to her cheek, dabbing at the wide cut, looking at her own blood-stained hoof. Dash, why? I told you to stay away. Why couldn't you just stay away? Kill her. No, she is my friend. I can't. Kill her and the hurting will stop. But please, Pinkie. Pinkie, run. Just run. God, please don't make me do this. Kill her. Kill her. Kill her. What happened next was a blur. The memory fuzzy in Dash's mind as Pinkie Pie tried to make sense of the sudden attack upon her person. Dash let out a chilling mix between a wail and a scream, catching the Earth Pony off guard, and the blade darted forward, slashing through her neck, severing vein and artery as a gout of crimson issued forth from the wound. Shock and surprise registered on Pinkie Pie's face as she gurgled, blood hemorrhaging from the wound, staining her pink fur with the red hue of life essence. Again and again, the silver blade struck out. Dash's speed not restricted to her fight as she plunged that blade into the filly before at rapid pace, sobbing hysterically as she carved the squirming and flailing filly up. Through the breast, through the bone, Pinkie Pie's struggles slowly faded as her blood was split onto the floor of the Candy's Corner kitchen, pooling around her, splattering the Pegasus atop her with the hot red fluid. Just leave me alone, she screamed, fear turning into rage. You couldn't just go away, could you? You just had to keep coming back. Pinkie's struggles grew weaker and weaker, her eyes wide with terror as tears streamed down her face. Visage frozen in a mix of fear and anguish. What did she do? Was it the icing? Did she use salt instead of sugar? Why? As those slowly glazing eyes stared up at Dash, the strikes of the blade grew slower and slower, the Pegasus finally plunging the implement deep into Pinkie's chest, spearing through the filly's heart, ending her party once and for all. Dash heaved for breath, limbs shaking, as she looked down upon Pinkie's chest. I messed up there. I'm kinda tired. As she looked down upon her handiwork, blood stained her fur and feathers, painting her a deep crimson, wearing the life force of her former friend, like some Macuber outfit. She sobbed, letting out a wail of anguish, and she realized the gravity of what she had done. Arms wrapped around the butchered filly, Dash holding the still warm corpse of her friend tight. No. I didn't. Celestia, no. What have I done? What did I do? Dash's body shook as her chest heaved with each gut-wrenching cry of anguish, suddenly letting go of Pinkie Pie's body and letting out an ear-piercing shriek of terror as she looked at her own hooves. Blood and viscera coated them, dripping down through her fur, the sense straight from a horror movie laid before her eyes. She skittered backwards, slipping into a pool of blood of her own creation, slamming cheek first into a pile of gore before finally gaining purchase and dragging herself over against the farthest wall from Pinky's still form, her stomach mutinying on her own as she'd emptied its contents onto the floor. Next to her, her mind raced thoughts of running a mile a minute as she hiccuped. Wide terror-filled eyes staring at the scene made by her own hoof. Murder. She had committed murder. On one of her own friends. It was unheard of. No pony had murdered another in hundreds of years. Voices within her mind clawed at and whispered to her, the world spinning around her, as the time seemed to stand still for her. The last vestiges of her sanity being plucked apart one by one until that final thread snapped. Hooves grasped at her head, miting her rainbow-colored mane down with blood and ichor. The Pegasus rocking back and forth in the bloodied kitchen as a crazed grin spread across her muzzle, humming disjointedly to herself. Giggled at the ghastly, snortle at the spooky, dashed threw her head back, curling legs against her chest, and forelimbs wrapped around them. Psychotic laughter issuing forth from the speedster Pegasus as her world shattered around her, psyche and spirit broken and splintered. And that is the end of Cupcakes and Rocket to Insanity. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that story. I'm gonna go put some ice on my neck, and I will see all of you in the next video. So I bid you all farewell.